Earful Tower listeners, it's your favorite semi-regular co-host, Eddie G, younger brother to your regular host, Oliver G.
What, are you taking over, or?
I think I am.
Oh.
I'm feeling it.
Okay.
I'm actually here to celebrate and... No, let's start again. No, let's not start again. I'm here to celebrate the season finale.
That's right, it's the season finale of the Earful Tower. Usually it'd be me, Oliver G, hosting. Eddie,
I'm here as a...
you're confident from your last appearance on the show.
Well, that's the thing. I was here actually last time, just before the season finale.
That's right.
I've upgraded.
So if anyone doesn't recognize this voice of this young kid in the studio, it's Eddie G.
And you can hear some of my previous work on iconic episodes such as Finding Mary.
Which we're going to talk about later.
Yeah, we'll get that. You can also hear me on the beginning of the sewer episode.
Oh,
Yeah,
yes,
that was a
that's
good
right.
one. Two great episodes.
So I figured that for this season finale, we were going to do a bit of an introspective look at the Eiffel Tower, figure out what the Eiffel Tower is all about, and what's coming up and what's been happening. A lot of people sending in emails these days asking questions, and I thought instead of me sitting in the studio talking to myself and asking myself questions, I get the most frequently asked questions and get young Eddie to sort of pitch them.
Spice it up a little bit.
What's quite nice is you don't listen to the show.
I never. I've never heard an episode, except for the one I'm on.
Well, that's the thing. If you had listened to all the episodes, you'd know all the answers to the questions.
It wouldn't be interesting. So I'm here to be informed. I'm going to be asking the questions, but I will actually be listening to the answers.
And we'll give a few nuggets about things that have happened, a little bit of gossip, a little bit of things about
a little bit of drama.
What's ahead, a few surprises in store, maybe for you, maybe for me. Who knows?
Absolutely.
So this is going to be a bit of a sort of all-encompassing. It's like you know when there's a TV show like Seinfeld, like the Seinfeld
The recap
season.
episode. Recap.
The recap episode, which you kind of.
You skip it usually, but don't skip this one.
Yeah, but the reason that we're doing this is, Eddie, you're obviously in town because I'm getting married soon. World Cup was last night.
Absolutely.
I've just been on a bachelor weekend, so everything's happening in Paris. So we took it a bit. I'm not calling you a fill-in, Eddie.
Yeah, you did mention that you've only got me because you couldn't find anybody else, but I don't like to believe that.
But should we talk about World Cup?
Yeah, let's start there.
So we're recording on Monday in Paris. We should play the there's the bell. There's the bell. That's the sign for the jingle.
One man, one country, one red scooter. Here's the Earful Tower with Oliver G.
Oh, I love it.
That's actually one of the questions a bit later on. We could start with that if you want.
Yeah.
So these are all regular questions. Eddie and I sort of went through some emails that people send. A lot of people, when I meet, when they come to Paris, want to have a coffee or do a tour or something like that, they ask a lot of the same questions. So I thought, here's a bit of an about the Eiffel Tower. And we've written down the questions. Eddie, you can interview.
I'm going to actually start at the start. I don't like starting in the middle. It makes me nervous.
Oh, it's so hot in Paris. I just had a big mouthful of Coke Zero, which is in the studio fridge. I almost spat it all over the microphone.
Absolutely.
It came out my nose a little bit. Let's go.
I love that tidbit. All right. I've got a really easy one to start with. But what is the Eiffel Tower?
Everyone listening knows the Eiffel Tower. That's too easy.
I don't think so. I don't know the answer.
All right, we'll do a little bit of it's true, some people might be finding this for the first time. The Eiffel Tower, the name of it, that's a question we could have put on, because some people don't get it. The name is a wordplay.
It's quite clever.
What, did you come up with it?
No, but I think it's very clever.
Yeah, well, it's like the Eiffel Tower. You know what I
Eiffel.
often say when I meet people and I say I do a podcast, especially French people, and they say, what's it called? Because if you just say the Eiffel Tower, it's a bit of play on words, and maybe with a French person who doesn't speak fantastic English, it might be hard to understand. I often say, you know the Eiffel Tower, right?
I've heard of it.
They go, yeah, come on. I say, this is the Earful Tower. It's for your ears.
you
It's
listen
a
to
podcast.
it.
And you know what? One of my friends was explaining the Eiffel Tower to someone the other day, and he said, getting an earful, it's like when someone gives you a lot of
someone won't
information
stop
about
speaking.
something. Yeah, a little bit.
It's very
So we'll
like
be with
that.
you for the next 25 minutes. So yeah, that's the idea of the name, and it's a podcast. 30 minutes a week, always on Monday. Done 75 episodes now or so.
75.
Yeah, went quickly. It started in December 2016, and look how far we've come.
When's it ending?
That's a really good question. That
Hopefully.
wasn't on the list. I don't know when it'll...
I'm freeballing.
Here's when it'll end. I do have an answer for that. It'll end either when Google buys it and says stop doing it or whatever, and they give me $1 million. That's one way it will end. Or if... The other way that it'll end is if I get a really great job somewhere else and I turn this way down to part-time. But that's not the goal. The goal is to make this my full-time job. So hopefully it won't end for a long time.
Is it your full-time job currently?
I say it's my full-time job. It takes up full-time. It's my full-time job in terms of the work that I put in. And it's almost paying minimum wage. And when it gets to minimum wage through the crowdfunding support, that's when I'm going to call it a job.
Absolutely. Does
Do
it
you
pay
think
your
that's fair?
rent?
Yeah, it pays rent.
I think
It
you
pays
could be-
rent, but we've been evicted. Do you know about this, by the way?
from this or from your actual
From
home?
the home. Do you know about
I
that?
didn't know about this.
Did you actually?
Yeah, do you want to talk about it on air? Or is
No,
it
I've talked about it
a
before.
tender-
No, someone
See,
bought.
proof that I don't listen.
I mentioned it on one show once. Someone bought the apartment that we live in Paris,
Uh-huh.
and by Parisian law, that means that I have an opportunity to buy it. And they gave me like a half an hour window. They said, "You want to buy the apartment?" I was like, "What now?" They go, "Yep, right now." I said, "No." And they said, "Well, we're selling it to someone else." And then they said, "You got to be out in 3 months." I said, "I'll be on my honeymoon in 3 months." Something we'll talk about later.
Mm-hmm.
And then they said, well, long story short, I just decided I won't come back to the apartment and continue the honeymoon. Did you actually not know this?
I didn't. Where are you going to live?
I can't believe
Here?
the listeners know more about.
I know than
Than
your
you
own
do.
brother.
Anyway, no,
can't
we're
believe
gonna. What are we gonna do? We're just gonna continue the honeymoon for a couple months rather than 6 weeks like we first planned, and then when we come
Stay
back,
on
we'll
the
have to
road.
find something else.
Are you going to be recording on the road?
Yeah, that's the whole point.
Oh yeah.
The fourth
no, I knew
season.
that.
The fourth season of the Earful Tower is good. This is good. It's good. You're the perfect co-host for this
Ignorant
episode.
is bliss.
The fourth season of the Earful Tower is. I've called it the honeymoon season.
Got it.
And what we're doing, I think the idea is to do every Monday an episode. If I meet, I'm sure I'll meet interesting people along the way. So if I meet like a farmer who does camembert, maybe he'll be the guest for the week because we're going to go all around France in this big love heart shape. Or maybe we meet the guy who runs, like the guy that runs Bordeaux Expats group on Facebook got in contact with me and he'd heard about the trip and he said, "Hey, when you're down here, I'll show you around." So maybe I'll do an episode with him, showcase France, showcase a different part of the country rather than just Paris.
Brilliant.
Yeah, and then the other, so the other arm of the podcast is doing videos, live videos in the Facebook group, some of which I do in the big Facebook group, and the vast majority of which I do in the closed Facebook group for Patreon subscribers.
Brilliant.
I did, and I do them off the cuff. So you wouldn't have seen these because you're not Elizabeth, our other sister's in the group.
She pays for it?
No,
I don't have that kind of money.
I gave her a freebie.
A free subscription? Where's mine?
It's the only free. I give guests on the show freebies.
Uh-huh.
Anyone that's been in a video is in that group for free. And Elizabeth.
So the fact that I've
You've not been in a
co-hosted
video.
2 episodes.
Yeah, you can get it on the
counts for
videos.
No, I
And then we do live ones. So we took the scooter on a trip the other day. Lovely Lena, as people call her now. We took her on. That's actually true. LL.
Really?
Yeah, one of the listeners came up with it. It stuck.
Oh.
So we're going to go out to. We went out to Saint-Germain-en-Laye, which is 25 kilometers. I don't know what that is in miles for the American listeners,
Lots.
or for you, Eddie, who lives in Los Angeles.
Yes.
But it took us about an hour and a half. We went out, and when we were out there, Lena said, "Let's do a live video for the Patreon supporters." Boom, did it. Just walked around. Really beautiful out there.
Does this mean I'm being replaced as co-host?
By Lena.
Yeah.
Yeah.
By lovely Lena?
You're only here.
Not so lovely anymore.
You're edgy Eddie.
I like that.
Yeah.
I can work with that. Energetic Eddie, maybe, though.
No, so we're going to do an episode a week, and if you ever thought about subscribing, I'd say, I'm not talking to you anymore, Eddie, because I know you're not, but you listeners, if you ever thought about it, now's the time, because those subscriptions will go towards
nice.
paying for the fuel.
Oh, but
Yeah.
not for rent.
Not for rent. We won't have to worry about that. No, but there's, you'll like this. There's been a lot of listeners around that have sent emails. In fact, I should read one out. I got a really nice one the other day. And they say, "Look, I've got an apartment or whatever. You should come and stay in it. I'd love you to feature this part of the world, this part of France." So I'll read one. I didn't plan to do this, but I got it just yesterday.
Hit me.
You know what? World Cup, by the way.
Yes.
While I'm looking for the email, how'd you find that flying into Paris in the middle of the World Cup?
Well, absolutely insane. Anybody that knows me knows I absolutely love sports.
I don't think anyone who knows you is listening. Oh, Mum might listen to this. Elizabeth might as well.
All right, well, then I'll explain the joke. I don't like sports.
No.
But it was brilliant to be here and see the patriotism.
People
and
jumping in the canal.
People jumping on cars.
Yeah.
It was insane.
People taking their clothes off.
Yes, jumping in naked.
Yeah, that was a bit
It
weird.
was gross.
Yeah, I saw a bit too much skin.
I saw far too much.
Listen to this email. I'll cut it short though. I said, "Cher Oliver, I thought they wrote Olivier. I thought they put it in French. Dear Oliver, blah, 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 blah. When will you be in Carcassonne, the old medieval town in southern France? I may be able to offer you lodging in an exquisite 17th century apartment in the new town." She did it new in inverted commas, built in 1260. Imagine that.
12
From where we're from in Australia. About 15 minutes stroll from the city. Blah, 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 blah. It's actually cool. It says... "I know you like local colour and I can accommodate you with tales of the Cathars or the glory days of Carcassonne." So
Excellent.
that'd be pretty good. So I responded and said, "Yeah, that'd be great." So there's been people are involved,
Gotcha.
So if I meet, this is Catherine from Taste France.
Mm-hmm.
You know, if I meet her down there, hey, we'll do a video. Maybe we'll do a podcast episode.
Brilliant.
That's the whole plan, you know?
Yeah, Taste France.
Yeah.
That's
Showcase France. Taste France. Carcassonne.
All right. That was a brilliant segue, but I think we should get to the questions.
Sure. No, we love segues on this
No,
show.
you're right. I take it back. But I do have another question.
Let me hear it.
Why'd you move to France?
This is the question I get asked the most by anybody, podcast aside. People always want to know why and how. How, by the way, is because I got a British passport. Because our mother is British,
Yes.
which means you can live in anywhere in Europe for now, after Brexit. Let's not talk about that. But why France? So I was working in Sweden. I don't know if you know this, Eddie.
No, I knew.
So I was working in Sweden as a journalist in a company that had an office in France, and they had a position that needed to be filled, and I applied for it. And I said to them, hey, they said, how good is your French? And I said, hey, look, I studied French way back. I'll pick it up in 2 seconds. Why?
How's your French now?
It's pretty good now, but when I moved over here, it wasn't up to scratch, really, so I had to learn pretty quickly. But I came over here as a journalist, and I was doing it as a serious job, covering I came over at a very horrific time, the Charlie Hebdo terror attack.
Oh, yeah. That's
Day
right.
after that was my first day in Paris.
What a way to start a job.
Well, sometimes I say a lot of people come to Paris or to France for love, and I came for like hate, for evil, to
For
cover
war.
evil. Yeah.
Yikes.
So
Well,
that was my introduction. So I came as a journalist and did that job for 2 years. That took me to about a year and a half, a year ago. And then I threw it all in to focus on the podcast, the Earful Tower.
which you've been doing for how long now?
A year and a half. Yeah.
Good
So
time.
yeah, there was a turning point where a regular listener, Mitch, I've come to know him actually. So I was ordering coffees in the Peloton Cafe.
Yeah.
And I was just talking to the guys there, having a bit of a chat, ordering a few flat whites. And then as I'm carrying the flat whites out, he said, sorry, are you Oliver? Oliver G? Have I told you this story?
You got recognized?
He recognized by my voice.
Unbelievable.
I said, yeah. And he goes, I listened to your show. I recognized when you were ordering the coffees. It felt like I was
way.
listening. Yeah.
You have told me this, but I still don't believe it.
Yeah, well, there's witnesses. There was 2 people that were there, and then we got talking. He's from Australia. He lives in Paris. He's a regular listener and a Patreon supporter. So, Mitch, if you're listening,
Thanks for paying his bill.
thanks for being a turning point in all
Yes.
seriousness. Because then, and right after, an American woman, who I don't know if she still listens, Shelley. I got to know her as well, but she stopped me right after and said, hey, I recognize you from your videos within a minute. And then that was the point when I thought this, as fun as the news can be, it's quite heavy, and I really love doing the podcast. And if it's getting to a level where people are listening so much they recognize, because you can see the download figures,
Yeah.
you can see how many people are listening, but it's not very tangible. You don't really get it. So there's 30,000 downloads a month. But what does that mean? I don't know. Maybe no one listens. Maybe it's just mum pressing refresh
On 30,000
30,000
accounts.
times. Yeah, you have no idea. Or if they listen to 1 second, you don't really know. But then it got to this point where people were starting to...
I mean, I think when you get recognized on the street by your voice, I think that's a bit of a sign.
Yeah, right?
That you're doing the right thing.
So then I thought, I'm going to put everything in. So I quit my job, and then I really focused on this.
Put all your eggs in one basket.
Yeah, some people have said it's brave. Some people have said it's stupid. And then, yeah.
Some people say that's the same thing.
Yeah. And then the way to turn it into a job is either to have adverts for mattresses and websites, which I don't do.
Are you
Imagine
unopposed
that
to
guy.
it?
It wouldn't be. I am opposed to it.
But you could work it in seamlessly so that people didn't know you were doing it.
Should we do one now? Is that what you're doing?
I was trying to.
Like if you buy mattresses from AAA mattresses, there's no seams in those seamless mattresses.
I had an unbelievable sleep last night. Oliver. Do you want to know why?
Because you're on my sofa with that.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. But
Actually-
imagine, I think if this show started with a 1 minute advert
No, it
about
doesn't.
mattresses, I'd turn it off.
I'd unsubscribe.
So that's, in case you guys are wondering why I sometimes go on about Patreon, which is the website where people subscribe to the show at a $10 US dollars a month. That's the level that I recommend. You get all the videos and stuff. The reason I do it, $10 might not be a lot to you, but that will pay for me to keep doing this if there's enough people that will get me a wage, a salary. And I think it's better that I talk about that for about a minute an episode rather than mattresses or Squarespace. I shouldn't have said Squarespace.
Don't even say the name.
Or Audible.
But it is a great place to start a website. And if you use the code...
No.
I'm
No, but
joking.
you know what I mean? Like,
No,
all
absolutely.
the podcasts sound the same when they do those ones.
No, you're doing the right thing.
Thanks,
I'm
Eddie.
sure people respect you for it.
Sure.
All right. I have a good one. Do you ever hang out with the guests?
So you trying to act like you didn't know the question was written in front of you?
No, it was me trying not to cough.
I tell you what, I must have had 75 guests. Eddie's dying in the background. I must have had 75 guests on the show, and there's very few that I hang out socially with, but there's some that I do. For example, I'll tell you one of my favorite guests hang out with, John Baxter. I've become friends with him. The author.
I haven't, though.
He doesn't, he doesn't, I don't think he knows it, but he's my mentor.
Oh, I love that.
But he's great.
I don't think you know this, but you're mine.
Am I your mentor? Thanks a lot. That's very nice.
No worries. But I love that. A guest turned into a mentor. How'd you find him?
How did I find him? He was really pleasant. Nice guy.
No, how did you find him?
How did I find Baxter? I'll tell you, on the episode 2, right at the very start, Elaine Shalino, the author, I was talking with her in Shakespeare and Company, and the guys at Shakespeare and Company let me do a recording upstairs. They shut it off. They were really nice. Then I contacted them later. I was like, do you guys want to be on a show? And they're like, no.
Oh.
That's something we could talk about. The amount of people who don't respond to emails or
Really?
who don't want
Or
to be on the
say
show.
no?
Yeah.
Is it out of shyness or...
Yeah, some people have said I don't like the sound of my
I was gonna
voice.
say, a lot of people don't.
Some people say they don't think they have interesting things to say, or they don't think a podcast would work for them. Even when you say like a lot of people will probably listen to you, they're just not interested in it.
Are there a lot of people that you retry to get on? Or
There are a lot of people who I've emailed who never respond. Doesn't matter. Even
you just move on?
It's yeah.
How do you find them? How do you find anyone?
So Baxter, I was at Elaine Shalino. She was doing a talk with Baxter that very day, and they just finished the talk, and I went up to him because he's also Australian, and I said, "Hey, I'm Oliver. I'm just starting this podcast.
Sure.
I'd love to have you on the radio." And we just had he was really busy. We had a really quick chat, and then we both sort of forgot about it. And then 6 months or so later, I got in contact with him again, and we kind of hit it off. So he has this great apartment on the same street where Shakespeare and Company used to be, and so whenever I'm on the left bank, I text him. I say, "Hey, if you're around, let's have a coffee." And he says, "Yeah, come on up." So I go up and we talk
in his
about,
apartment.
Yeah, we sit on his balcony looking over Paris, and we talk about Hemingway and all that kind of stuff.
lovely.
He's got all these amazing old books.
Oh, you're smiling.
Oh, Baxter.
You love him.
It's all right. He won't be listening.
I was
You
gonna
can say- he doesn't listen to the podcast, but he's happy to be. He's happy
on
to
it.
be on them. He
He's
was on
just
one of
like
the
me.
walk shows. You know, what's a walk show? Wow, a walk show. He was on one of the videos that we do live on Facebook.
No, I know
where
these
you
walk
press
shows.
live and just go.
Yeah,
walk.
when I get the notification, I swipe it away.
Okay, where are we at? Another guest. Yeah, I think as the show started to grow, it was easier to find guests because a lot of people recommend people to me, like listeners, and a lot of people who want to be on the podcast.
Did they come to you?
Yeah, a lot of people who want to promote a new book that they've written.
Got it.
Or who are doing something kind of interesting.
What do you say to the people that might be listening that want to get on? Absolutely reach out.
I say for sure, if you think you got something interesting to share, like some people have messaged me and say, "Hey, I've written a book." I'm like, well, so what? There's a million books, you know. But some people said, "Hey, I've written a book about, let's just say, treasure hunts and finding gold in Paris.
Yeah.
And I want to tell you 5 places that you can find the best gold." Obviously, that's not a book, but that's great because I'm like, yeah,
Could be.
let's. Or I meet him and we brainstorm.
Yeah.
Rather than just 30-minute interview with someone who's written a book, tend to have kind of a theme or something like that.
I love that.
And you know what? One of my favorite episodes was this guy, Old Jim. I call him Old Jim, but he was about 85-ish, maybe. And he'd been an expat in Paris for 50 years.
Yeah.
And I just bumped into him one day on a street, just met him and we got talking. And I said, "Hey, I run a radio show." And so he came on and we just talked about how Paris has changed for expats over the last 50 years. And he had nothing to promote. He didn't even have a Facebook or an Instagram account. Whereas a lot of the guests maybe only want to come on the show so they have something to post.
Right.
You never know, really. But it was great because he was really honest. And he was just...
Candid.
He wasn't promoting anything.
You mentioned that was one of your favorite episodes. What are your other favorite episodes?
Oh, okay. Well, the one that people most ask me about in terms of stories... don't get too
Go on,
excited.
say it.
'Cause it's
Say
not
it.
No, the crocodile is the one.
Oh.
The crocodile in the canal.
No, that is a good one.
I've heard of tourists have sent me pictures of going down to the canal and croc hunting.
I love it. That was
Yeah.
last finale, right?
That was season 2 finale, and I hosted it in I did it live in a big Point FM a bar where I just watched the semi-final of the football in the exact same room. And so when I went to the football, there were like 200 people in there, or maybe 300.
Yeah.
And when I did it, there was only about 70 people came, but I told the story live. And it's kind of, if you guys haven't listened to it, go back and find it. Crocodiles in the Canal. It's a story of how an old lady revealed something atrociously terrifying about the Canal Saint-Martin.
Ooh, it's like clickbait. Don't
Oh.
tell them the...
Crockbait. That was one of my favorites. And the other favorite, there's 2 other favorites. The wall episode I did really recently where I traced the Philippe Auguste wall, which is this wall that surrounded Paris 800 years ago, and I went finding the traces of it.
Mm-hmm.
So if you go indoors and into parks, you can find these little remnants of walls.
Oh, great.
And those episodes are really fun because they've got lots of characters in them, lots of guests, but it takes a lot of editing and a lot of work, and not to mention walking around and exploring. So if I could do it more often, I would. And the other one, which maybe you're waiting for, I think, is Finding Mary. I still get emails about Finding Mary.
Really? What do people say?
People say that it really
They wish
resonated
we
with
found
them.
her.
Yeah, basically. But people probably don't know what we're talking about. So Finding Mary, this is episode 49.
The penultimate
Yeah,
episode of last
the penultimate one. So Eddie was here from LA 9 months ago, I guess it was. And when we stayed in Paris 10 years ago or something?
Yeah.
I can't remember anymore.
Something crazy.
So 10 years ago when we were in Paris, we had no accommodation. You were 12 years old, a young 12. So you came into the studio and we did this big kind of episode about trying to find this woman who had been gracious enough to let us stay in her apartment. Do you remember it?
I remember it fondly.
Yeah.
We didn't find her though.
No. But tell the story. I mean, I know that you've listened to it.
Well, no one emails me about it, but it's the one that I show. If I tell people you have a podcast,
Yeah.
I play it to them, not just because I'm on it, partly that, but also because it's a great story.
It's a really nice story. The story was nice from the beginning when we had nowhere to stay, and this lovely Parisian woman who worked in the what do you call it, tourist bureau, who said,
"You guys are idiots for not booking accommodation, but I feel bad for you, so come and stay at mine."
Yeah, so I was 18 years old or 20 years old, and so she took us back, stayed in the apartment, and then we spent like a whole week or maybe weekend or something tracing it down, trying to hire a detective, talking to
psychics,
a psychic,
private detectives,
and so we got all these people together trying to find the woman. But now we can do an update on that woman.
Oh shit!
Because I mean, a lot of the people that are listening right now will have listened to that episode and wondering whatever
They're probably
happened.
smiling.
The episode ended when you thought Mary was going to walk into the door, but she didn't.
Yeah.
But a lot of listeners probably don't know about this. But eventually, after you went back to LA, and I think weeks, maybe months down the track, I got an email in my inbox, and she said, "Do you remember what she said? I wonder if I can find it."
I think she said.
She said, because we'd sent all these emails to all our old email addresses.
On her Facebook.
Yeah, that's right. And she sent this email saying, "Hey, oh my God, I've just found the, this is right." So she responded and said, "Hey, I just found the email. Yeah, I remember you guys. What's going on?" And then I had to send this really delicate email because I didn't know if she'd find it funny that we'd done a 40-minute episode about trying to find her in Paris.
Gone and waited outside of a house.
Yeah. If anyone hasn't listened to that episode, I highly encourage, you should even stop this one to go listen to it. We eventually found the address in Courbevoie that we stayed in, Courbevoie, 10 years ago. And we got to what happened? We went to the front of the apartment.
Yeah, we yelled from the outside.
Yeah, because
Mary.
we couldn't find a name. That's right. And what did you say?
I said,
if you exist, calm down.
Calm down.
And so eventually she responded, and I very delicately said, "Mary, we've done a whole podcast episode about you." And then she listened to it, and she listened to it with her family and with her kids, and they loved it.
Is she going to come on? Or
Well, yeah. And then I said, "Do you want to come to Paris?"
Me.
And I said, "Do you want to come to Paris?" And she said that she lives in southern France now. So it never worked out like that. But just that idea of
maybe one day.
Well, I wanted to try and do something so that we could.
What about when you're on your honeymoon?
Yeah, well, in the south of France, it would be really cool to go down there and see her, but I wanted to do it with you. So there's a knock at the door.
Don't.
What?
I hate it.
What have I managed to organize? Open the door, Eddie.
Wait. Oh my God. I hate it. It's not Mary. It's lovely Lena. You're ruining my life. This is the third time. Oh, man.
Lovely Lena, my fiance, come into the studio.
My heart can't take this kind of trauma. I just said don't do it.
Oh, God.
I thought you were knocking on the table.
So, yes, lovely Lena in the studio. Take the yellow mic. Welcome to the studio.
Taken. Thank you.
If you put it really
so
close
warm.
to you. Yeah, there you go. I'll turn you up a little bit. Welcome to the
stairs?
studio. Lovely.
The stairs of hell.
So, to catch you up, listeners.
We were just talking about the honeymoon.
Yeah, it's
time.
perfect.
Yeah.
It's perfect. So, Lena's coming in to round out the episode. Eddie didn't know that.
He did not.
I did.
The listeners, if they're listening for the first time, maybe have no idea who Lena is. Perhaps you can introduce yourself.
Well, hello everyone, Earful Tower listeners. This is Lena, or lovely
You were
Lena.
going to say lovely Lena then.
really?
I was.
Eddie's holding his heart. He's clutching his heart.
Yeah, because of what just
Do
happened.
you think that
So
would
you
be
clutching
Mary that would
pearl?
walk
Yes,
in?
my heart's beating. Really
Anyone that
hard.
listens to the last episode will remember that I tricked him into thinking Mary would walk in at the very end. But
It's
no,
very
we
mean.
still haven't found Mary.
Same trick twice.
Yeah.
That
One
is
day.
not.
Can't
That's
wait
not
till you hear
nice.
again.
Groundhog Day.
Goodness.
So, Lena, you are going to be
Yes.
the co-host of the Eiffel Tower Season 4 honeymoon season.
I am.
How you feeling on the pressure?
Well, right now I'm a bit sweaty, but that might be the heat and the stairs.
It's so hot in Paris.
Oh, it's very hot.
And we're drinking that Coke Zero like it's going out of fashion.
Yeah, I also brought some water.
Oh, great.
Oh, that's better for you.
But yes, will be married to you.
Yeah,
By
if
the
everything
start
goes
of the
according to plan.
honeymoon
And that's why
season.
Eddie's in town. That's why all families coming from all over the world.
Yeah, they are gathering.
So the honeymoon season, which was Eddie's last question, I think.
Mm-hmm.
What was it?
I was asking if you were going to find Mary when you were down in the south of France.
Well, I'm sure she wouldn't mind me saying she's in Biarritz, which is in the
Is that a
south-
stop?
southwest. Not really. The honeymoon, for you guys
it
who don't
should
know,
be.
is the
It
love heart shape.
That's so
And every love heart has a bottom point, which is in
Sure does.
well, that's what I love.
No,
heart
it's
has.
true.
And that's in
That's what they always
Marseille,
say.
kind of Nice area, rather than over on the west coast.
Yes.
Unfortunately. Yeah.
Well, maybe you could make it look more like a normal heart, which is kind of just like a blob shape.
With
And you can
aortas.
go.
Yes,
Yeah.
that's what I thought as well.
Yeah, just do that.
Yeah.
Well, that's the funny because
And then
you came up with a heart
anatomically correct.
idea because it vaguely resembled like if you do a trip around the coastlines of France, it's basically a kind of heart shape because Paris is the indent in the top. But one thing that we can say is we do have a plan that we haven't talked about on air before, Lena or Eddie, is that to go to in Brittany. Seemingly we've got more time because we've been evicted. As listeners, we've already talked about this.
So sad.
I say evicted. Can you say evicted when someone's bought your house?
I think it's a
Yeah.
big...
I mean, technically,
Yeah.
yeah, they asked
it's
us
all
to
of a
leave the
sudden.
premises.
So a close friend of the show, Fabian, the Breton sailor, said, I can do his accent because maybe he's not listening.
Do it.
He said, mate, if you're coming to Brittany, you should come to Saint-Brieuc, where I'm from.
Do you imitate me on all the episodes?
Often, regularly.
That was pretty good.
And he's been on the show. He's been on a few of the walk shows for the regular walk show listeners. He said, come to Saint-Brieuc, which is kind of off-piste, off the heart shape, up into the real far corner of Saint-Brieuc. But he said, hey, come and stay for the weekend. And I said, that sounds like a great idea. Will you be part of a video? Will you show me something traditionally Breton from Brittany? He said, I would love to have you in the kitchen and make you a galette.
Yeah,
What's that?
it's
Well,
kind of like a pancake.
Oh. You
I
both
was
looked
going to
at
say,
me in
I was going to
shock.
say, I was going to say, you'll have to sign up and find out. No, but it's
You'll never get me to sign up.
it's
Good try, Ollie.
it's like a savory pancake, and
Got
they
it.
put ham and they put mushrooms and stuff like that in, and
Oh,
it's
it's
kind of the pride
delicious.
of Brittany besides
Oh.
the
You
cider.
You know what a crepe is, right?
Yeah.
It's basically a crepe, but not sweet.
Sounds great.
It's a
So,
savory
so
crepe.
he'll have us in the kitchen and he'll cook something like that for us.
Oh.
And another regular guest, Dingo Mike,
Dingo
he's been on the show a few times. He's going to come out to meet us in Brittany. So I looked it up. It's 500 kilometers to get to this town, Saint-Brieuc, which if we go about 50 kilometers a day, that's about 10 days in. And that's basically as far
I
as,
think we can make it.
yeah, after the experiment trip that we did was 50 kilometers.
Yep.
2 sore behinds and a good effort
We
on the
had,
first.
we had to recover for like 2 days after that,
It's
so
funny.
this will be interesting.
After
to
the
say
first
the
after the
least.
first trip that we did, the first experiment, we
We're
woke up the next day
exhausted.
and we were like sore all over. We're like, oh my god, this is.
How is this gonna?
How are your behinds going to be after the whole love heart?
I know.
Hopefully, very trim.
How relatable.
You know, like this. I just blacked out.
Okay, totally blacked out.
Yeah.
But that's a
I'm glad
good
you're
chance for us
replacing me
to.
with-
That's a good chance for us to wrap up. Any more questions that were on the list?
There wasn't actually. You
Okay.
answered all of them kind of naturally.
Yeah, well, usually I'm
Has
on
there
the other
been
side
a
of the
little
mic.
Q&A that I missed out on.
Yeah, we did some
Oh,
of
I
the
can't wait
regular.
to hear the episode.
Some of the regular. You know, one story that we should tell, but we'll save it for the honeymoon season is how we met. That's quite romantic.
that
How I
is a good
proposed to you,
one.
also quite romantic.
Very romantic.
Yeah, the
But
River
wait
Seine. Oh my
the
god.
book.
Wait for the book. Yeah.
Is there a
Might
ring?
be a book.
Is there a ring?
Was there a
There
ring?
was a
There
ring.
was a
yeah.
ring.
Oh my god.
Weighing
There
me
was,
down in my jacket pocket, heavy.
Is that how big it was?
Like the,
I don't
not,
know.
no, not because of the size of the ring. It wasn't heavy at all. More heavy in the sense of Frodo and Lord of the Rings.
Yeah.
I was like, have to destroy the
You,
ring.
Have to get rid of the one.
rid of it.
But you'd have to
That's
buy
a
my
good-
book to hear that story as well.
Are you coming out with a book? What is in the future besides the honeymoon? What
Great,
else
you
is
are
coming?
natural, actually.
Thank you.
So here's the idea. This is a good question. We're going to be doing the honeymoon season for maybe 2 or 3 months. Like I said, an episode every Monday. Lots of live videos.
And lots of behind the scenes.
Yeah,
just-
impromptu stuff too. 5-minute stuff. And that's going to go on for 3 months. We'll be staying in all sorts of places. Then we get back to Paris, find a home. Then
Hopefully.
season 5 will start. Hopefully at that point,
How exciting.
lots of generous people have joined in on Patreon. I'll call it my job by then.
Yeah.
I won't have to do the welding on the side. No, I'm just kidding. I won't have to do freelance journalism on the side. And then I'm in sort of developed talks about a very exciting idea involving live videos, but I don't want to jinx it. But watch this space. And I've been writing what could be called a book.
How
as well.
exciting.
Yeah. So
lots in the pipeline.
Stay tuned.
yeah, so that's what there is to look forward to on the Earful Tower. If you like what you hear, and if you think $10 a month isn't really $10 US, so not even euros. If you think that's not a lot of money to part with, I want to help these guys fill up their fuel tank and see a show like this grow. Then consider signing up. Patreon.com/the Earful Tower, or just if you haven't got a centime to square, follow it on Instagram, Facebook. Oh, you know what? If you're listening to this is going out on Monday. There's 9,997 followers on Facebook.
Currently?
Yeah, right now. So someone's going to be number 10,000 follower.
Amazing.
Do it right now.
Is there
We'll
a
celebrate.
prize?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Glory that lasts forever, and a big shout out on the show.
Really?
There
But
you go.
That's a
that
good one.
marks the end of the season 3 finale.
Congratulations.
Eddie, thank you for coming into the studio.
course.
Lovely Lena, thank you for coming
I'd
into the
love
studio.
to.
Sorry, I
back
wasn't
anytime.
married.
Yeah.
But that's it. Yeah, thanks for listening, guys. We just wanted to give you a bit of a behind the scenes on what goes into the show. Apologize for any drilling noises outside, but it is so hot in Paris. We had to have the windows open. And I hope you enjoy the fresh air in the background of a podcast episode, because on the honeymoon season we're doing it on a scooter. And there will be a lot of fresh air. Did we mention scooter? I don't know.
I think,
that's kind of
we
vital.
mentioned
Yeah, we'll
It's
be
kind
on
of the main
Yeah, because if anyone was
character
listening
of
to
the
that
whole
bit
episode.
before about like being uncomfortable,
it. That's what you're talking about.
Oh, yeah.
we were talking about.
We know.
Yeah, it's
Well,
not
that was
on
a long time
horse.
ago. Anyway, thank you for listening. Eddie, Lena, thank you. All you lovely listeners and you 9,997 followers on Facebook, thank you. And you won't hear from us till I think after the wedding, except for little bits and pieces behind the scenes.
Well, good luck.
Hey, thanks, Eddie.
I'll be there.
See you in Sweden.
See you in Sweden.
Lena, you too?
Yes.
Great.
Are you going to carry the rings? Are they going to weigh you down?
Yes.
All right, guys, we're going to get
All
on to the
right.
wedding. Talk to you soon.
Bye.
A bientôt.
Love you.